Back in the 1990s, when US banks started installing automated teller machines in a big way, the human tellers who worked in those banks seemed to be facing rapid obsolescence. If machines could hand out cash and accept deposits on their own around the clock, who needed people? It's true that ATMs made it possible to operate branch banks with many fewer employees, 13 on average, down from 20. But the cost savings just encouraged the parent banks to open so many new branches that the total employment of tellers actually went up. Welcome to Radical Thought. Today's radical question is: will robots take over most human jobs? This question has been given its most apocalyptic formulation by figures such as Tesla and SpaceX founder Elon Musk and the late physicist Stephen Hawking. Both have publicly warned that the machines will eventually exceed human capabilities, move beyond our control, and perhaps even trigger the collapse of human civilization. But even less dramatic observers are worried. In 2014, when the Pew Research Center surveyed nearly 1900 technology experts on the future of work, almost half were convinced that artificially intelligent machines would soon lead to accelerating job losses, nearly 50% by the early 2030s. The inevitable result they feared would be mass unemployment and a sharp upswing in today's already worrisome levels of income inequality. And that could indeed lead to a breakdown in social order. Already, some people like Bill Gates have proposed to levy a robot tax for every robot used in a company. He suggested these funds could be used in elder care and education. The European Union was quick to strike down a draft motion that could have levied a tax on robot owners, fearing that it would hinder progress. All of these dilemmas are arising from the fear that our jobs may become obsolete. But then bank tellers were supposed to become obsolete too. What happened instead was that automation via ATMs not only expanded the market for tellers, but also changed the nature of the job entirely. As tellers spent less time simply handling cash, they spent more time talking with customers about loans and other banking services. And as the interpersonal skills have become more important, there has been a modest rise in the salaries of bank tellers, as well as an increase in the number of full-time rather than part-time teller positions. So it's a much richer picture than people often imagine. Automation creates wealth by allowing us to do more work in less time, but there is no economic law that says we will use the wealth well. For example, consider two countries, Norway and Saudi Arabia, both oil-rich nations, but they haven't used that wealth equally well to foster human prosperity. Norway is the thriving democracy because its citizens work and play well together. It is typically numbered between first and fourth in rankings of national happiness. Saudi Arabia is an absolute monarchy in which citizens lack a path for personal advancement. It is typically ranked 35th in national happiness, which is very low for such a wealthy nation. The difference between these countries is not their wealth and not their technology. Rather, it is their institutions. Norway has invested to build a society with opportunity and economic mobility, whereas Saudi Arabia has raised living standards while frustrating many other humans striving. So two countries, both equally wealthy but not equally well off. Automation and machines are like extensions of the human faculties. They can help expand our abilities, allowing us to work better. There are a lot of examples of operators on the floor who become very engaged and ultimately very appreciative because they know very well that the specter of automation and robotics bearing down on them. And they see very quickly that this is a tool that helps them be more efficient, more precise, and ultimately more valuable to the company. So companies are willing to invest in its people as opposed to getting them out of the equation. Many, if not most, experts in this field are cautiously optimistic about employment, if only because the ATM example and many others like it show how counterintuitive the impact of automation can be. Machine intelligence is still a very long way from matching the full range of human capabilities. Even when you factor in the development now coming through the pipeline, we have little reason in the next 10 to 20 years to worry about mass unemployment. It is always easier to imagine the jobs that exist today and might be destroyed tomorrow than it is to imagine the jobs that don't exist today and might be created tomorrow. So, will robots take over most human jobs? Long story short, yes, absolutely. But can robots take over cognitive jobs as well? That is a topic reserved for next time. So, what is your job? Do you think your job will be taken over by robots? How will it make you feel? Comment below. If you like this video, please like and share. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe and support on Patreon so every new video reaches you immediately. So, with an exciting new radical question, see you in the next episode.